Today we're hanging out in this beautiful van built by Lauren Lawliss. Lauren built all of this by herself without knowing how to do any of it before she got started. And now she's been traveling the country for the past couple of years. Hey, I'm Ryan, and this is Dirtbags on the Road. Hey Lauren, thanks for having us in the van with you.
Hey Ryan, thanks for the invite. I'm super excited for this.
Awesome. So let's just get started. What did life look like for you before you got into all of this, before you got started?
Before I came across Vanlife, I was still in college actually. So I was up in New England area, going to school for business. Wasn't quite sure what I was going to do after school, but I always had this hunger to travel and see the world. So just in the back of my mind, I was always thinking about how I could make this something I could do, but otherwise it was, the midst of COVID. I was just sitting at home, scrolling through social media. It was locked down, the world was all shut down, so it was kind of a little bit of a somber time back then before life on the road, but I was entering my final semester of college, so I was super excited for the next chapter.
Cool. What exactly were you studying at school?
So I got 3 business majors. I did marketing, global supply chain management, and business administration.
Oh, you're smart.
I just worked really hard.
All right, so what do you do now to make money while you're on the road then?
So I do have a full-time sales job, fully remote. So anywhere I have Wi-Fi, I can do my job, working from the van, coffee shops, anything like that. So I do that, and then I have some side businesses as well, sharing some information, resources with people about van builds, having consultations, and all of the stuff that falls under that umbrella.
Cool. So it's like you have your corporate 9 to 5.
Yep.
And then also your online content stuff.
Yep.
So
exactly.
how does that 9 to 5 work while you're in traveling around?
So it's a traditional 9 to 5. I am waking up, finding a place to sit for the day, relax, try to find places with pretty views. So my office is in cool locations, but open up my laptop, making phone calls, answering emails, taking meetings. And then once the workday's done, close the laptop and I get to explore whatever area I'm currently in at that moment.
Cool. So how many hours a day do you think you work?
So about 8 hours a day. It's typically a 40-hour work week, and it does have some flexibility, so I can flex my time as needed so that I can work later into the evening and start a little bit later in the daytime, especially because I'm covering accounts. I work in sales, and my book of business is in the Pacific Northwest. So currently being on the East Coast, I'm 2 to 4 hours ahead of my dealers, so sometimes it's really nice to work later in the evening and be on their time zone, so super flexible.
That's cool. And do they know that you live in a van?
There are a select few accounts that know. I haven't told everyone quite yet, but there's definitely some that follow me on social media, check in on me, and just ask me where I am in the world that day. So it is pretty cool, and I feel in the Pacific Northwest, it's a very pretty area where a lot of people travel and do RVs and whatnot. So get to talk about that with a lot of them.
So they get it.
They get it for sure. They want me to come out there really bad in the van.
That's cool.
It's a pretty area, so I'm excited to get out there.
I'm surprised you haven't been there yet.
I know. I've been working on it, trying to finish the build on the East Coast, because I know once I go west, I'm not going to want to come back east for quite some time.
So I want to know more about what was going through your head before all this happened. When you got bit by the van life bug, or when it first started, when that first solidified in your mind, I actually want to do this. Tell me about that.
So like I said, I was entering my final semester of college. I was just scrolling through social media, just mindlessly trying to pass time. And I came across a post of a girl living in her van. I initially scrolled past and I was like, wait a second. I scrolled back, and from that moment on, that one post changed the whole trajectory of my life. Because originally I was going to get a 9 to 5, work really an in-person 9 to 5.
What everybody expects.
What everyone expects. Get the house, get all that. So when I came across that post, I was like, wow. The combination of traveling and my home all in one, so I can travel full time, it just clicked in that moment. And so literally from that day forward, I was doing such detailed research on what van life was, how to build out a van, how to get mail on the road, Wi-Fi, all of that. And I just filled hundreds of pages of Word documents. And yeah, it was all I thought about in my free time.
So you have like a master Word document you were just like going away with all your ideas.
Everything. I started back in 2021, and I sometimes open it up and just get a giggle out of looking through it. It's all of my mind and all my thoughts and all the research all in one spot. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then how does it compare then from back then, the planning and like the imagination of it, to actually living it now?
Yeah, it is more than I could have ever dreamed of.
Cool.
It definitely lived up to the expectation. Obviously, with any lifestyle, there's going to be high highs and low lows. It's the same whether you're living in a house or living in a van. So there's definitely times where it can be a little more challenging and a little more inconvenient. But the trade-off for the freedom and the places you get to go and the people you get to meet on the road, it's very well worth it.
That's cool. Tell me about some of the people you've met.
Oh my goodness. I have met some amazing people. Going to van gatherings, I started going last year. So last year was the first time I went to a van gathering. There was 2 in Florida, Van Fest, Peace, Love, and Vans, that I attended. And I actually got to meet you and Peace, Love, and Vans, and have been able to stay in touch with all these people that we meet in the road. And then this year, attended both of those events again. It felt like a giant family reunion because everyone's seeing everyone from previous years, catching up, seeing what's new with the rig, and just staying in contact with everyone. So the people have been amazing. I think the highlight for me is the community. Like, if there wasn't for the community, I don't know if I'd be able to do this as long as I have so far. So the community is definitely a special part that I wasn't expecting to come across, so I'm grateful for it.
That's so cool. What do you think it is about the community that makes it so special?
Yeah, I would definitely say the mindset. I feel like we share a lot of similarities there. I have never clicked so easily with people before than with people that live the traveling lifestyle, live in rigs. Like, it feels so much easier to connect with those people.
Bunch of crazies all in one place, right?
Exactly. And we all come from like different backgrounds, so it's cool here, like, where people are from, the different childhoods they had growing up, different like lifestyles and different talents. Like, you meet so many people and everyone has their own cool talent and passion in life, and it's just really cool to hear about that. So yeah, it's been a blessing for sure.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. So what steps in your life did you take from like that first initial inception of the idea to buying the van and starting the build? Like, what did those initial steps look like as far as like setting up your life to make this feasible?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I wanted to make sure that was something like I truly, truly wanted to do. So just doing the research, I like to cross my T's, dot my I's, make sure like it is feasible. Making sure that like I could get Wi-Fi on the road, I could get mail on the road, like just making sure that it is something that I truly want to do before I invested all that time, money, and energy into it. But like I knew pretty early on like this is something I would see myself doing. So from that point forward, saving was huge. So I could save up, buy the van, buy materials to actually build it out. So was definitely being more aware financially of saving that money. I ended up graduating college with a job lined up. It was going to be in person, typical 9 to 5. And
we don't want those.
No, don't want those. But it worked out well because during the interview process, it was a program I was in. So I would be in person for a year, and then they said that my next role would be remote. So I was like, perfect. In the back of my mind, I was like, I'm going to work for this year, save a bunch of money, be in person, get out of my hometown, go to a really cool city, get to just be on my own for a little bit. And then while saving money, getting myself prepared for the next step. So as soon as I was promoted to the next role and got remote, a month in, I was placing an order for my van.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It was so exciting.
Did you ever think about, like, what if I didn't make to that remote position? Like,
so thankfully, it was a leadership development program. So they're ready to move you on. They're trying to, like, develop you as an individual. Like, it was plan. Guaranteed. Yeah, which was nice. And previous to COVID, that role was not remote. It was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you had to be in the office every single day. So one of the silver linings, I guess you could say, of COVID for me personally was that role was then made remote, so then I could pursue this lifestyle. So
yeah, COVID making so many things remote.
Yes.
So then how did your parents react? Like, how did your family, what did they think about all of this?
Yeah.
These crazy ideas that Lauren came home with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. So I mentioned it to my family. I showed them a picture of it. Just let them know, like, oh, this is like something I came across. It'd be perfect. At first, I don't think that they weren't like, they didn't feel heavily one way or the other.
They didn't take it seriously?
No. They were probably like, oh, like, cool, this is something she saw.
Like, that's a cool idea.
We'll see what happens.
Sure.
Like, she's still in school, and so I don't think, like, in the beginning, they were, like, very, like, concerned about it. But I would say when I moved to Nashville, was the city I moved to after college, and I was living there for a year, and just calling home, just always updating them like on my research and like about the van and about van life, and my parents were like, wow, she's still on this.
Oh, so like you slowly started chipping away at it, and they saw that, and that like kind of solidified it for them, I guess, too, to like get around to this idea, like, oh, she might actually do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was pointing things out about like van builds. Oh, I joined a Facebook group for ProMaster build outs, and my mom joined it too. She's like, okay, I want to see what this is all about. So she joined it, and then she starts sending me screenshots of stuff that she saw in the group, and I feel like that really helped her like get a better understanding of it. Because if you tell someone, like your parents, I'm gonna go live in a van down by the river,
they think you're crazy.
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So it was really cool that she was involved in that aspect, sending me ideas, and I think that kind of opened her eyes to this as a possibility. And I feel like that also helped her to better identify vans when she was out in public. So it's like one of those things where like you don't realize, like if you don't know about van life, you might not realize that van that's parked next to you is someone's living in it. So like she'll start like recognizing windows or fans or things like that stood out, and just get really excited and realize like, hey, there's a lot of people doing this in my hometown actually. So it was cool. But yeah, as soon as I placed the order for the van, they were like, okay, this is happening. She's
jumping ship.
This is gonna happen. And I remember bringing the van home, and my first project was cutting two 14 by 14 inch holes in the roof of the van for the Maxi Air fans, brand new van. And then my dad came over and he goes, "You sure know what you're doing?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "All right." And then we just went to town on it.
And I'm sure you watched 1 billion hours of YouTube videos before making those cuts.
So many hours. Countless hours, for sure. YouTube was definitely the lifesaver. If it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't have gained half the knowledge I have on how to do all of this.
Yeah, I know there's like a book about converting a van like out there somewhere, but yeah, same YouTube videos all the way.
All the way.
Yeah, YouTube University we call it.
Absolutely, learn anything there.
Yeah. So then the build process, what did it look like for you?
Yeah, so I thankfully had my parents that were more than welcoming and allowing me to park the van at their place. So I would work on the build at their place. My dad thankfully had a garage full of tools, so I didn't have to worry about ordering that. But yeah, just brought the van home, and I just got to work with it, cutting holes. The first thing I did in the van was cut 5 giant holes. So those 2 Max Air fans, I had the 2 bunk windows and the sliding door one, I'd been researching it for so long. I was like too excited to be nervous. I was just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like, let's do this.
No hesitation.
No hesitation whatsoever.
Wow.
So yeah, I just went to town, cutting out holes, working on insulation, pre-wiring, furring strips, eventually getting around to the cabinetry. But I initially in my head was like, all right, I'm going to bang this out in 6 months. I'm going to get this done. Wishful thinking on my part.
Good joke.
Good joke. Yep. So, no, I ended up actually working on the build for a few months up in New England area at my parents'. And then I would go travel for a few months, take a break from the build, enjoy it, get to like travel and do what it was actually meant for. And then, come back and work on the build. Travel, work on the build. So last year I took a 10-month break on the build, just traveled, and I just finished it recently in the last few months. So yeah, it was quite the experience.
So like living in it now that it's like actually kind of, you would call this done?
Yeah, 100% done, finally.
I'd call it pretty done.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So how different is it now traveling, now that it's done versus when it was halfway?
Oh, it feels like such a luxury.
Yeah.
I have running water now. I have lights. I have outlets. But like when I pulled off of the dealership lot, it was just an empty metal box, an empty canvas. I went to the closest Walmart, bought myself an air mattress and a lawn chair, and I had my suitcase with me. And I moved in immediately, traveled around in the van for 2 months living like that. I was taping paper towels up on my windows, hanging a sheet
tell.
Yes.
To block out the...
So no one could see in. So, like, I still got the light, so it wasn't very good sleep then, but I would hang up a sheet to separate the cabin, the cargo space. Like, I was roughing it, but, like, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. Like, it's so much fun. It's van life. It was not hard whatsoever. I was showering at Love's gas stations, using public restrooms, going to coffee shops for Wi-Fi, and I did that for 2 months. I was like, I could really, like, continue living out of this as is, but I'm also the type of person that likes a challenge, and I wanted some, like, hands-on project to gain new skills. And so I was like, all right, it's time to do the build. Once the build's done, then I'll be able to enjoy it even more. So yeah, every step along the way, it definitely feels like a luxury to have running water now and all the additions.
That's cool. You were basically like urban camping in a metal tent.
Yeah, pretty much. It definitely got cold at nighttime.
Yeah,
yes.
So where was that first place that you took it to? Like that first adventure?
Yeah, so I was started in Nashville. I got it from the dealership there. My apartment lease was up, so I got that there. And I stuck around Nashville for a couple weeks just because I was comfortable there. I had lived there for a year. I knew the area, so it just like eased me into it, kind of thing. But then I headed to Eastern Tennessee, to the Smoky Mountains, to Knoxville. I went and visited family in North Carolina, and then I did some national parks. So I really love national parks. That's one of the things I want to do, is like see all the national parks. So I went to Sedona National Park in Virginia and the New River Gorge National Park in West Virginia, and just had a ball and just took my time making it back to New England.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's slow travel, we call it.
Yes. Yeah. It's very nice just to be able to take your time and fully embrace yourself somewhere and see the towns and not rush through areas.
Yeah. What would you say your like favorite amount of time to spend in one place?
In one spot, I would say a week is definitely good. Sometimes a week and a half. I would say
pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. At this point, I've only traveled on the East Coast with the van. I've traveled out west, but like that's like flying there. So I've seen the East Coast a lot. I feel like once I do get out west, I'll be even more slow when I'm out in nature and BLM land and whatnot. But yeah, I would say a week and a half, and then I'm like, okay, I've seen it, and like I'm ready for something new.
Yeah, sucked all you can out of it, and just kind of on to the next one.
Yeah, but it is nice to establish that routine, because it is so hard to have a routine in a van, I have found personally. And so when I am able to slow down and stay in those areas, like just kind of create that routine and what my daily day looks like, it's just nice to kind of allow me to refresh and re-energize so that I can move on and do new things in new places.
So then, speaking of routines, then what would like a day in the life look like for you right now?
Right now, living in the van, waking up, I would wake up at sunrise, crack open the curtains and let the light shine in, try to get my steps in. I like to do it in the morning, just to get me moving, get the body moving. I cook myself. I'll come back to the van, I'll set up my laptop, and then around lunchtime I'll cook myself a nice breakfast, work in the van, and then in the evening time just explore the town, walk, just really take my time and just be present. I think that van life has helped me learn to be way more present in my life, whereas before van life I was always forward thinking about years and years down the road, like I gotta do this and this and this, and like just too much of that.
I think the reason, because I had the same experience, because I feel like when we're working like a 9-to-5 regular life, the thing that you're working towards is retirement. Like that's the big light at the end of the tunnel, whereas when we were working, this was the light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
This was the thing that we were working towards. And then once we make it to this, we're like, oh shit, this is it. We're here. Like we made it. What does this look like now? So now I got to enjoy this like intentionally instead of just worrying about what's ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Just staying very present and just soaking it all in. Like this is what you were working for, was that freedom and like to explore these cool places. So So I
don't know about you, but I had like a mini, quarter life crisis, I guess, once I started doing the van thing, because I was like, like I said, planning for retirement was a thing, and then this was the thing, and I made it, and I had like a quarter life crisis, like what's even the point? This is it, I guess, then, huh? Did you feel something like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like when this moment came and like just being more present, like I'm not as forward thinking as I was, like obviously I'm still doing things to set myself up for the future, but I'm just like very much just want to enjoy the moment, like enjoy the journey and just take it day by day, really. Yeah.
So what do you do to foster that feeling, then that mindset?
Yeah. So I used to be a huge planner. I was very type A. When I started solo traveling in 2019, I was staying at my brother's in a different state. I had an internship, and over the weekends I would take my car and I would go to new cities because I was in a new part of the country, so I wanted to go see all the areas. And when I tell you, I made the most detailed itineraries. I had it down to the minute, the places I would eat at. I would look at the menu in advance, like so type A and overly detailed. My brother and his girlfriend would look at me, a girlfriend at the time, would look at me and be like, no, I can't travel with you. Kind of like, I would plan so much. And I feel like now I don't do that. Like when I started van life, I would kind of make a plan like, oh, this is where I want to be by this time and try to map it out. But now I don't even do that. Like I take it very much day by day because you just never know what opportunities are going to present itself. Like just taking your time, going with the flow, feeling it out, how you're feeling in that moment, where you want to go, what you want to do. So my travel style has definitely changed a lot from like the detailed itinerary to now like literally taking it hour by hour every day and figuring out as I go. And like that's when the coolest things present themselves, meet new people, do new things that you hadn't planned. Like I've met a lot of really great people by doing that,
by just like leaving the plans open and seeing what happens. Like 2 weekends ago I was just sitting at a kombucha place, and a girl sat down and we just really hit it off, and then she's introducing me to all of her friends, inviting me to all these things over the weekend. And like if I had been like, no, I gotta leave town or like whatnot, who knows if we would have crossed paths. So yeah, it is really cool. Neat. Yeah. My favorite part about meeting people in the wild, I guess, is like they think it's so cool and they immediately want to know more about it, and it's like an initial conversation starter with other cool people, because like only cool people think this is cool, right. So you're not going to see a bunch of dickheads. But like that was always my favorite, like sharing and then like showing them the build and being really proud, like, yes, I made this.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely been a treat to be able to share that with people. And then you stay in touch, and then you have friends all over, so then when you're traveling back to those places, you have someone that you can connect with and hang out with. So
that's cool. That's cool. This is great. This is so much fun.
I'm having so much fun right now. Sorry, I get so talkative.
No,
it's long-winded.
That's what it's for. That's what this is for. It's long form.
Okay.
Fun. So what like new daily challenges does this lifestyle put in front of you?
Yeah, so I would say for daily challenges, being a solo female, there's definitely times where I can get some decision fatigue. So if I'm trying to find a place that I need to work, making sure I have connection and Wi-Fi for my 9 to 5, making sure that I park somewhere safe, just keeping my safety top of mind, and just the parking aspect, especially in the evening time, since I am kind of more go with the flow and staying in the present. Sometimes it can be exhausting at the end of the day to have to then worry about finding a place to park that allows overnight parking and I feel safe in. And then like the small inconveniences of making sure my water tank's staying full. So when that's getting low, I got to really find a place as soon as possible to fill up. When I'm in the winter time, my solar panels are not pulling as much power with the gloomier days and less sunshine. So it's making sure that my power is staying up to where it needs to be so I can use appliances. But yeah, doing the dirty stuff like emptying your pee jug and finding a place to do that discreetly and being respectful of the places you go. So just the small inconveniences that you don't typically deal with in a home, but it's well worth the trade-off in the end of what I've been able to do even despite all that.
Nice. Yeah. So it's like basically resource anxiety sometimes that you don't have to worry about in a house, but then also like trying to figure out what the heck you want to do.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, going online, trying to find fun places to go, safe places to go, parks, doing things like that for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So like being by yourself in the van, do you ever get like lonely or?
There's definitely been times where I've been lonely. I would say more so early on. Like I've always been such an independent individual, like kind of like the lone wolf, like doing my own thing. I'm so totally fine with like being by myself. I would go to sporting events by myself. I would take myself out to eat all the time. I'll go to the movie theaters by myself, travel. Like I've always been the type of person to do things by myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. But I have noticed as I've gotten older, kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like having that human connection with people was something that I've been lacking. So I feel really fortunate and grateful that I started attending van gatherings last year so I could meet nomads on the road and stay in contact with them. So whenever I do get lonely, I reach out to friends. Maybe we're in the same area, we can meet up, caravan travel a little bit. If not, then I can always call home or check in with the family. But yeah, there's definitely times where it does get lonely. Thankfully, I haven't dealt with that for some time, but sometimes it just hits you out of nowhere when you're least expecting it. Yeah.
I feel like especially after like lots of fun hanging out with all the fun people, and then like right after that, is that?
Yeah, it's definitely a transition when everyone's like literally departing ways and going their own way in that moment. It's like, wow, like, okay, like back on my own kind of thing. So it does take some time to adjust. There's definitely times where I'm like by myself and I'm like, oh, it would be great to like share this experience with someone and have my friends here. And then, yeah, so it would be nice. I've thought about getting a companion like a dog, but I don't know if I'm quite ready for that yet. But it's always a possibility if I wanted to, yeah.
So then the thought of getting a dog, like why would you or why wouldn't you right now?
So the reasons I would, just companionship.
It's fun.
It's fun. Being able to care for the pet. I also feel like having a dog would make sure that I am consistently getting outside and getting my steps in and walking and make sure I am staying active. And just, having someone to talk to and just hang out with for sure. The reasons I wouldn't, personally, I'm a little bit like, I like to keep my place clean and it's all white, so I feel like it would be a little more challenging with a pet. I clean a lot as it is, and so I can only imagine it'd be more with a pet, but totally fine. It would just be a little bit of an adjustment. And I think the other thing is climate control. I don't have an AC in the van. I travel with the weather, but like just because I'm comfortable sweating and being in the hot, humid weather, it's not fair to a dog for that.
Can't have a husky in Florida in the summer.
Oh, absolutely not. And then I would also say like my spontaneousness. Like I will book a flight and fly somewhere like next weekend. So it would just be more of an inconvenience of having a pet, trying to find someone to watch it when I'm gone. So I just think that right now I want to enjoy it on my own, and then when the time comes, I think it'll present itself and let me know.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So then how would you say that like just your outlook on life and like the way you think about yourself, how do you think that has changed since you started doing this?
So the thing with van life is I feel like it really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. You're not coming home every day to a home that's like sitting there perfectly waiting for you, like you said, having all the resources. So I definitely feel like it pushes you out of the comfort zone, which is then where then you are in the growth zone, and you really are learning more about yourself, learning more about the world. So I think my perspectives have definitely changed, and just gaining more clarity on like what I want out of life, what really matters to me, at the end of the day. And it also is nice because like you meet so many cool people on the road and you get to hear their side of things and their perspectives. And so I definitely do think that being on the road, I have definitely grown more as an individual. I've been more resilient. There's a lot of things, especially throughout the build. Like there's so many times, like I'm doing the build all on my own, doing all the research, all of the planning, all the buying, doing troubleshooting, all of it. And like it was all me. And so when something goes wrong, I have to fix it. I have to be the one to figure it out. So I think that it really gave me a lot of resilience because I just had that mindset. Like instead of getting frustrated about something going wrong, I just relax and like I'm gonna figure it out. It's fine. Like the world's not gonna end. I'll figure it out as I go. Just take a step away, take a breather, and it's gonna work out in the end. So I think my mindset has gotten really good with that. Where like nothing really shakes me anymore. So that's definitely a cool place to be at.
Cool.
Yeah.
I definitely remember those days building when you screw something up and you're like, that's going to take a solid 5 hours to fix, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to do it. It honestly doesn't matter.
Exactly. It is what it is. It'll get done.
2 questions about the build.
Yeah.
How long did it take and how much money did it cost?
The build itself, I've had the van for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years this May. I was building on and off, so I was traveling for some time, building it out for some time, traveling. Like I said in the beginning, I traveled for 2 months before I actually started working on it. And then I traveled for 10 months last year without doing a single thing to the build. Nice. So it's hard to calculate just how long it actually took me. But I mean, when I was working on it, it was like long days. Like I would work during the daytime, my 9 to 5, in the evenings, so I'd have all the evenings to work and then the weekends, while also trying to balance a social life and my family and friends and like my hobbies and my interests, not to mention recording the entire thing and then trying to edit videos while building it out and doing research. So it was a lot of time.
She's got YouTube videos on all of her builds, so if you want to learn how she built this, check those out.
For sure. Yeah. So it was a lot all at once. So timeline, I would say, yeah, just shy of 3 years, I'm officially done with it. The cost itself, so I bought the van brand new. It was during COVID when I was originally going in with the mindset that I'm gonna buy it used. I was looking at like a couple years old, like 50,000 miles, but I was finding at that time, when the way the market was, which it was crazy back then, but I was finding that the price of like a few years old with some miles on it was around the same cost as a brand new van.
Yep, I remember that.
Oh my goodness. I was like, all right, like I guess I'm just gonna go for it then. Brand new. So I got to like go through the website, select everything I wanted, add this, add that, add windows in the back. Like,
so you like ordered it from the manufacturer?
Yeah.
You didn't just go to a dealer?
So I went onto ram.com and like wrote down what I wanted, and then I sent that over to the dealership. They placed the order for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I was able to add everything and like all these features.
Cool.
And then they went over, they ordered it. It was during COVID, so it was not like it was there next week. It took 12 weeks for them to manufacture it in Mexico, ship it to the States, and then I was able to actually pick it up from the dealership. So yeah, bought it brand new, with everything in, all the taxes and whatnot. It was just shy of 50,000. I thankfully was raised with parents that like prioritize us working for what we wanted in life. We've been financially independent since like 8th grade. Like parents never bought us a phone, never bought us a car, never put gas in our car, like never paid for college. Like that was all on us. So they taught us at a very young age, like if you want something, you need to go out and do it. So we were working at very young ages on the farm, ice cream shops, all of that. So yeah, definitely worked hard for it. I didn't have much in my savings account coming out of college, but being able to work in Nashville, I saved up with the job I had then, knowing that when I go remote, I'd be getting the van. So yeah, thankfully I was able to save money to buy the van over that year, and then continue to grow my savings account and buy my materials. So I wanted to go all out with it.
So when you went all out with it, were you doing everything by yourself? Did your dad help you? Did you have like a boyfriend there or something?
No, it was just me. So I did everything from the research and planning to financing, buying, doing it, troubleshooting it. I will say 99.99%, because I do want to give a shout out to my little brother. He helped hold one of the bunk windows in when I was screwing on the inside. So he had to hold on the outside as I screwed it. Putting on the sliding door window, like he made sure it was lined up well.
How nice of him.
Yeah, and then I did my solar panels. I have 3 solar panels on the roof, and I connected them all before putting them on the roof. So my 2 brothers helped me lift it up there, and then I recently had a friend help me install an awning. So aside from those, yes, everything else is 100%.
So you've been doing this for a while, and you're how old?
I'm just turned 26. I bought the van when I was 22.
All right, 26 now. So then how is like dating while you're in the van traveling around?
Dating has not really been on my radar, just because I've been so focused on the van build itself, living this lifestyle. I really like my independence and like having my own space. But now that the build's done and I don't have that to focus on, I definitely am more open to it as I'm getting older, but I also feel like it's hard to date on the road, because if you meet someone and you're just passing through town, like you're just passing through town. So it's hard.
Unfair to just start something and then like peace out.
Exactly. So I think if I were to date right now, I would love to find someone that's like living this lifestyle, whether they're just traveling in general or living in a rig. That's something that I would definitely be interested in. Finding a person that's doing this as well, it would just make most sense, I think. So yeah, I am definitely ready to start dating and meeting people, but yeah, we'll just wait and see what the future holds. I'm not sure what it'll look like quite yet, so it's something new.
Yeah, because I know for a lot of people that are dating while doing van life, they like start it together. Like I'm lucky enough to have Tori while I'm getting into the building now a bus, but I've done the van thing by myself. I get you. It seems kind of difficult.
Yeah, but I also think it would be cool to meet someone already doing this, because then we'd have our own separate homes. Like, we can travel together when we want. If we want to go separate paths for a little bit, we can, and then meet back up. You have your own space. So I do think it would be very cool to meet someone that already has the van, because I don't know if I'd have the room for someone else right now. I'm loving my space and my freedom with it, and still being able to go like where I want and like make the decisions to do what I want to do then. So I think having 2 rigs would be really, really cool.
Because then it's just like they're your neighbor that happens to be in the same town as you every time.
Exactly. That would be the way to go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So for somebody on the outside looking in that wants to get started on doing this, they just got bit by the bug like you did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I would tell them to go for it. I would tell them to first make sure it's something that they really, really want to do the research, make sure they understand what they're getting themselves into, and then drown out any background noise. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be questioning their decision and questioning whether it's the right decision for them, but at the end of the day, it's all about doing what makes you happy, and so I would just really encourage everyone to go for it. If you're going to do it, just go for it. Say you're going to do it and just follow through with it. Enjoy the ride. It is quite a ride. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. It's all part of the journey. It's not just about the destination. Like, looking back, I'm so grateful for how long it took me to actually get the van, and then how long for me to actually do the build, because it's all part of the adventure, and you learn so much about yourself and the world along the way. So
it's like the hard things that make it even better.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And make you even more resilient and prepared for this lifestyle.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Lauren, for having us, and thanks
you.
for being the first guest on the podcast.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
You can find Lauren on everything at Lauren Lawliss, and that'll be linked down below in the description on YouTube. And if we make an audio version of this would be linked below wherever.
Perfect.
Thanks. See ya.
Nice.
Sick, dude.
That was so fun.
That was fun, wasn't it?
I loved that.
Oh, man.